Hello, my friends. So you're coming to the Reno Ukulele Festival. That's awesome. What level are you? I want to make sure that whatever workshops you pick, you feel comfortable and confident to attack the material. I want you to be challenged, but not so challenged that you miss the first part of class and you're sitting there for an hour and 15 minutes virtually learning nothing. I'd much rather you go take the class where you get to play things that you already know and learn a little bit so that you are definitely improved by the time that you leave the festival. Now, as far as our levels go, they are 1, 2, and 3 with some little blurred lines between 1 and 2 and 2 and 3. So let's dive into what each one of these levels means, and I'm also going to give you a little thing that you can practice for each level so that when you do come to the Reno Ukulele Festival, you feel like you're ready to go, and when the teacher mentions that thing, you're ready to play. All right, first on the list is 1, beginner, and here's what it says on the level sheet. Hello, newbie. Welcome to our community. Stick to level 1 classes to learn the basics and strengthen foundational techniques. Here's what it says under newbies to recent players. I got my first ukulele. If this applies to you, then you are a newbie. I know a few chords. I am still learning how to strum. If that is you, then make sure that you stick to the absolute beginner newbie level 1 classes. Now, if you want to be prepared for those classes, I would suggest that you know the following chords on the left hand. We have the C chord, which is set to open, 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 3. You can reach over for the A minor in the same key. 2, open, open, open. If you leave the 2 down, you can add your index finger to the 1 on the E string for the F chord. 2, open, 1, open. And if you anchor that index finger down and you swing on over for that G7, my elbow's going out, but only because I'm in a strange position to show you. When I actually play, my elbow remains in. I'm going to try to keep it in now. So now we have G7, which is open, 2, 1, 2. And you can slide right back into C. Sometimes you might play a D minor instead of an F, which looks like an F with the ring finger tucked right in behind the middle finger on the next string. 2, 2, 1, open. Also in the key of C, you might come across an E minor, which is open, 4, 3, 2. Now, a few other chords you might come across would be in other keys. Generally, C, F, and G are the keys that we play in, but you might come across a class that has alternate keys besides that. But let's pretend like you won't. We have the G major chord, which is open, 2, 3, 2. We have the E7 chord, which is 1, 2, open, 2. We have a D major chord, which is 2, 2, 2, open. We also have a D7 chord, which is 2, open, 2, open. At least that's one way to play it. As far as strumming goes on the right hand, you're going to want to make sure that your arm remains moving at all times. So if I play my C chord and I just go down and up with my strum, I want to make sure the up is a little bit quieter than the down. Sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you might strum with your thumb, which is perfectly fine. It's limiting, so you might want to expand your horizons and start strumming with your fingernails, even if you don't have any nails, downward, and the flesh of your finger coming up. Very light like that. If you strum with your thumb, that's okay. You still want your hand to continue moving. My trouble with a thumb strum is that it's flesh on the way down and nail on the way up, which is quite bright. So we want to make sure the emphasis is on the downbeat and the softness is on the upbeat if you want to have a nice tasteful strum. All right, moving down the line now, we are on level 1 to 2, which is sort of a blurring of the lines between absolute beginner and level 2. We like to have the blurring of the lines because we don't want you to feel like you have to get locked into just one level. You could probably try a level 1 or a level 2 or a level 1, 2, depending on your abilities. So level 1, 2, here's what it says. You're an advanced beginner. Congratulations. Level 1 classes could be good for review and strengthen your foundational techniques, but you're ready to advance into level 2 classes. A lot of people get stuck in level 1, get stuck in beginner, and only take beginner forever. You might be ready to upgrade. As far as your abilities go, it says, I can read and play first position chord charts. I have memorized many first position chords. Those are the chords we talked about earlier. I can comfortably strum in several patterns and rhythms. Patterns and rhythms could include swing versus straight. Straight is like the ticking of a clock, so we would go down and up in equal intervals on the right hand. It would sound something like this with a C chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Another possible rhythm would be a swing. So you're still going down and up with your right hand, but you're going to delay that up. You're going to turn a down up into a down rest up. And to give you a visual, Perry calls it the flat tire rhythm. It sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, like that. Very relaxed rhythm. I can bar a chord when necessary, but try to avoid it. So you might be having to bar a chord in this 1 to 2 level class. Barring a chord really requires a lot from the thumb, but also the gravity of the left hand. If you were going to bar all the way across fret 2 for a D6, for example, we're really going to use that thumb on the back. There's a muscle here in your thumb that you can engage. If you go like this and go squeeze, 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 that muscle gets stronger as you learn to bar. So we want to have that thumb on the back of the ukulele really helping us, and we're going to give that counterweight here. The other thing you want to do is remember the science behind a bar or any chord. You're pressing the string down against the metal. So here's the metal, fret 2. I'm pressing the string down so that the string touches the metal with clarity. I'm not on top of the metal, otherwise my flesh will hang over the edge and mute the vibration. So I'm going to go right up above it so I can almost see it. It's like I could barely feel the metal right underneath my finger. Even I got a buzz, right? And that was because the knuckle wants to kind of do this, but we want to do this instead. So if you can imagine that you're pressing in with the bottom of your knuckle, that will help you invert that finger and not let it arch up like this, like a little rainbow. So if you suffer from arthritis or things like that, then what we encourage you to do is, no matter what the homework is that's given in the class, if it shows a chart like this, then I want you to take off the first string and only play 3 strings. That will be a lot easier on your hand. And you're probably playing the majority of the chord with even just with 3 strings. So we're going to turn a chord like this into a chord like this. All right, let's say that you can do all of these things. You know your first position chords, you know how to bar, and you can play some simple rhythm on the right hand. You are ready to move into level 2, baby. Here's what it says for level 2. You're a solid intermediate player. Level 1 classes may be too simple. Level 2 classes should be just right. You may not be ready for level 3 classes. Although if you're feeling brave and you see a class you liked at level 3, you can always give it a shot. Here's what it says for the abilities on level 2. I can pick or finger pick a little. So finger picking refers to plucking the strings with your fingertips as opposed to strumming down. Where a strum sounds like this, we might do the same rhythmic accompaniment with something like this. So So anytime you pluck the strings on the right hand, it's called picking. It might be an arpeggio for a song, which is another way of saying break up the chord in individual notes. It's an Italian word. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. It might be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and things like that. If you're able to do that, you would consider yourself level 2, and then you would be ready to take those classes for Travis picking and all these fun kind of bluesy things that you can do, or even just fancy fingerstyle stuff. Picking could also refer to melody playing. So if you're familiar with playing melodies on your ukulele, then you're probably a level 2. I can explain basics to a newbie. I have memorized most first position chords and several alternate positions. First position chords are what we talked about for level 1 to 2. We also refer to them as cowboy chords. First position refers to the fingers as they line up with the frets. Finger 1 on fret 1, and then every finger following prospectively is position 1. Position 2 would be like this. So you're a level 2 player if you can also play the same chord, like C, up in an alternate position, like this. You don't have to be able to travel up very far to consider yourself a level 2 player. I would say if you can play a few of your chords in a few different ways, A minor, A minor, A minor, A minor. You might have your F and your F, maybe your F here. Lastly, I don't have to think about strumming. It's very intuitive for me. That's great. That means that your right hand has done this enough times that you're never kind of wondering or left wondering if your hand's supposed to be going up or down. This way, in level 2 classes, you can go learn how to do a new strum. You could learn a rumba or a reggae or a bossa nova, things like that. All right, moving on to the next level, level 2 to 3. If you read everything on level 2 and you went check, 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 then you might be ready for the very next level up, which is a hybrid between 2 and 3. Here's what it says. You're a solid intermediate player, ready to dabble in some advanced techniques. Level 1 classes are likely to be too simple. Level 2 classes should still comprise most of your schedule. You may be ready for some level 3 classes if you're up for a good challenge. And here's your abilities. Ooh, the list is getting longer. Bar chords are no problem for you. I can pick or finger pick fairly comfortably. Remember, that's fairly comfortably. That means it might not be perfect yet, but you feel pretty comfortable. I understand and can read tablature and some formal notation. Here's where tablature comes into play. A lot of workshops are written out in tablature. If you do not know how to read tablature, you are not going to enjoy a level 2-3 or a level 3 class. Tablature is a literal language which shows you where to place your fingers on the frets. This way you don't need to know how to read music necessarily in order to play a song. Although we always encourage you to learn to read music no matter what age. I would be comfortable playing open mic and beyond. This one's kind of a sticky one. You might not ever feel comfortable playing open mic, and you might be a total level 3 player. So just take that one with a grain of salt. I'm comfortable, knowledgeable with most chords and many alternate positions. Same thing as level 2. I can alternate strumming patterns and follow songs easily. I am a quick learner and can handle complex instruction. I can transpose between common keys on the fly. Hoo-wee. So level 2-3 is quite advanced, actually. If you can transpose on the fly, and you're a quick learner and can handle complex instruction. Make sure that if those two things don't apply to you, that you be prepared. If you end up taking a level 2 to 3 class, they might be talking in terms of transposition and complex music theory concepts of moving a 2-5-1 into another key, as an example. You want to be able to understand those concepts before you go and take a class like that, unless you're prepared to just be confused for a lot of the time. And who knows, maybe you'll just pick it right up. I don't know. I'm just speaking from experience myself. Finally, level 3. There won't be very many classes labeled level 3. Here's why. Level 3 is an advanced class, and each time that we've posted classes at this level, the majority of people in the class are not ready for level 3. So we get emails afterwards, we get complaints. We also get people saying, wow, it was really over my head, but I liked it. So it's not a very popular idea to be having these advanced classes at the festival, but we do want to make sure we have something for everyone. So again, if you do not feel like you fit into the level 3 criteria, then I wouldn't waste your time trying to take a level 3 class. You can always get the handout and address it later. You can probably take a private lesson with that teacher online. Everybody's doing it nowadays. And maybe you can see them at another festival in the future and you'll be ready for that material. So be kind to yourself when it comes to choosing your level. Here's what it says for level 3. You're an accomplished player. Level 2 classes may still be useful for review and strengthen some techniques. Level 3 classes should comprise most of your schedule. You will get the most out of these. I can pick or finger pick very well. I can read formal notation to at least an intermediate level. That's pretty advanced. I am very comfortable performing. Now, performing is a whole other beast. This might not apply to you. You might be a level 3 who's not comfortable performing, and that's okay. But if you are comfortable performing and comfortable performing complex fingerstyle arrangements that you've memorized, then you're probably a level 3. I can improvise lead lines and or chord melodies. Can you find a melody on your ukulele? If I do that same example from before, ba da 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 dum ba ba. Can you find that melody on your uke? Go ahead and push pause on the video and see if you can. All right, if you could find it, you're probably a level 3. I know basic chord theory and can figure out uncharted chord positions when necessary. Let's say the teacher calls out and says, oh, the chart that you have in your hand says to do the 3rd position C. But if you want to, you can reach all the way up to position number 7 with your G shape. Are you going to be able to make the appropriate notes on your paper and or just remember that that was the new C that we're playing? Then you're a level 3. I can teach others most level 2 concepts confidently. So there you have it. Those are the levels for the Reno Ukulele Festival. Make sure that you feel comfortable with where you are. You might consider yourself a 1, but then read over 1, 2 and go, I think I could probably learn a couple things before I get there, and I could upgrade to a level 1, 2, and that way you're ready. You can do that for any of the levels. If you happen to go and sit in a workshop that's beyond your ability and you know right away that it is, get up and go to another workshop. Nobody cares. Nobody's staring at you like you think that they are. It doesn't reflect on the teacher. All of the teachers understand that I've given out this PSA. And now that everyone's heard the PSA, you no longer have to feel uncomfortable packing up your things quietly and hurrying out to go find another workshop that better fits your skill set. That being said, if you are hard of hearing or you have problems with sight, please make sure that you have your handouts printed in the size that you need and that you sit as close to the front of the stage as you can. Each one of our workshops is set in what we call the Sierra rooms. The walls are not particularly thick in these rooms, and so we can't turn up the volume too high on the PA or else it bleeds into the next room. So just make sure that you get there a little bit early and sit as close to the front as you can. If you have any questions or any requests on what to learn, please email me, support@starlightukes.com. Perry and I both receive email at that address. We would love, love, love to hear you say, ugh, there's this thing that I'm just struggling with, and I know that if I just knew it, it would help me in my learning so much. I'd be happy to make a tutorial for you and share it with everybody, because you're probably not the only one that's struggling with it. We live in a beautiful community and a society where there's other people like you. So I hope that you enjoyed this video, and let me know if I can help you with anything else. And we'll see you at Reno in October.